Hi everybody, this is Plugspinner, and today we're going to be picking and rekeying this poorly bitted American 1100 padlock. Here is the factory bidding that came with it. It is an 85788 bidding, with those 8s being nearly 0 lifts, not quite, but you barely have to lift them at all. I'm going to go ahead and show you why exactly this type of bidding isn't desirable, and how it makes the lock super easy to open. And then we're going to upgrade it to a more difficult bidding to pick. So since most of these are almost 0 lifts, we're just going to zip the lock with this half diamond pick. And then there is one pin that's a little bit higher than the rest that we are going to single pin pick, but as you'll see, it's very easy to open. So we're going to zip, and then we're going to go for that one singular pin, and we're open. And I'm going to do it again just to show you that was not a fluke. Let's lock it again. And we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to do a zip and then go for that single pin. Zip. Where is it? Oh, we missed it that time. Let's try again. Zip. And pin 2. And we're open. And one last time, just for good measure. Zip. Oh, that time we didn't even have to pick that single pin, and we're open. So as you can see, it's super easy to get into this. I don't think I even showed you the key does work. See? So yeah, I think I proved my point. It's super easy to get into it. So now we're going to go ahead and gut this. And then after we gut it, I'll show you what we'll be upgrading the bidding to. So just gonna take out this screw down here. Take that out. We're gonna have to take off this C-clip in the back. Hopefully it doesn't go flying across the room. All right, it is fighting me a little bit. Okay, there we go. Put that there. Normally with these, if you were rekeying, you could just rekey it through the bottom here. It has holes there. But in this case, we are actually going to reposition the driver pins to better suit the new bidding, which you'll see in just a moment. So I'm actually going to put a shim in here just to help everything go a little bit more smoothly. Where are those key pins? There they are. Here's our plug follower. I'll push this out. I am actually going to leave these key pins in here for the time being, because I'm just going to show you also why pins of this length are no good when you're using security pins. So I'm going to leave that there for now. We're going to take out these driver pins and go from there. Where's my tweezers? Okay, chamber 1 is a serrated pin. Chamber 2 is a serrated pin. Chamber 3 is a spool. Oopsie. Some springs just came out. I'm having having some trouble getting pin 4 out. Hold on one sec. Okay, pin 4 serrated, and then pin 5 is a spool. Let's just take out those springs. As you can see, they come standard pinned up to 5 pins, even though there are 6 chambers. Okay, let's see here. So let me do a little close-up of this for you. So 3 serrateds and 2 spools. And then if you look, the reason I kept these key pins in is because I wanted to show you these spools are in positions 3 and 5. And if you take these spools and kind of position them in here, you'll see the spool doesn't actually come into play. It doesn't go far enough into the plug to ever come into play. It does catch that little serration. I'm having some trouble getting that in there. It does catch the little serration, but the security pin is not being used to its full potential. And then in pin stack 5, it's not coming into play at all, not even the serration. So it's kind of a waste of those security pins. And chambers 1, 4, and 5 are the pins are so long that you barely have to do anything to set them. So no matter what type of security pin you have in there, serrated or spool, it's not really going to make any difference. So I'm going to go ahead and take out these key pins. And then I'm going to show you the new bitting in just a moment. Okay. Here you go. I mean, I guess from the perspective of picking this blind, you could say that this is an okay bitting because you're very likely to overset these key pins that have serrations in those 0 lift chambers. But from a picking perspective, if you have some knowledge of picking and understanding of feedback, it's going to be pretty easy to know that you're oversetting those pins after a couple attempts. So in general, I just think it's a poor bitting. I'm kind of surprised that they'll even send them from the factory with this type of bitting. I mean, it's nothing there. It's basically, from a picking perspective, this is basically a 2-pin lock. Super easy to rake open. As you saw, I zipped it open 3 times. There was only one time where I had a little bit of difficulty, and that's probably because I'm not really used to zipping locks or raking, to be honest. Anyone who watches my videos knows I pretty much only single pin pick. But yeah, so what I did was I contacted a locksmith I know on Instagram. He's also on YouTube. His name's Jeff Moss. And had him cut me a new key, which has more highs and lows mixed in to make this lock harder to rake, and just harder to pick in general. Here are the new pins that he sent me. And in just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and rekey this lock. First, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to put these key pins in here, and I'm actually going to rearrange the driver pins to better suit the bitting so that those security pins are used to their full potential, essentially. Okay, so our key pins are in. As you can see, everything fits nice and flush when the key is inserted. And there is a lot more room in those chambers for the security pins to come into play. And what I'm going to do is, those spools were in positions 3 and 5 in the original bitting. I'm going to switch them to chambers 2 and 5, because 2 is a super deep one where that spool will definitely come into play, and then 5 is even deeper. So we want to get the most out of those spools. The serrated pins will go in all the other chambers, which still have enough room for them to get caught up, except for maybe this first chamber. This was strategically decided to be a 7 cut, which isn't quite zero lift, but you don't have to lift it very much, if you can see. But we did that so that these higher cut pins are going to be much harder to get to without oversetting that. So some zero lift or near zero lift pins are okay sometimes, depending on what you're trying to do with them. But having a lock with this many zero cuts like the original, it doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't add any security. It does exactly the opposite. But anyway, so I'm going to, like I said, reposition these driver pins. We're going to have a serrated in one. 2 is going to have one of those spools. 3 is going to have one of the serrated. 4 is going to have a serrated. And 5 is going to have, oops, just want to make sure these are the right direction. And 5 is going to have a spool. Okay, so we're going to put this aside for now, and we are going to pin up this Bible. We're going to start by just putting the springs back in. Sorry, my camera is at like a super weird angle, so if I seem a little bit shaky and uncoordinated, that's why. It's hard to get a good view of what I'm doing without getting in the way of the camera. Okay, so we got all those pins in. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting these drivers back. Sorry, we have the springs in. Now we're gonna go ahead and start putting the drivers in. Again, we're only pinning this to 5, so we're gonna leave that 6th chamber completely empty. No springs, no pins. Get him in. Oop, I'm fumbling. We're gonna redo this. All right. I like to put a few in and just kind of rest them there, because the springs in these aren't so strong that it like pushes them out all the way. And then I'll just kind of push this against that back pin and then push them down with my my tweezers, which usually just allows the plug follower to go right over them. There we go. We got 2 more chambers. Got this spool. Oop. And then 1 more serrated. Okay, now those are in. We're gonna go ahead and put our shim back in here. And you probably don't need a shim, but I like using it just in case. We already have those key pins in, so we can push this right in. Pull our shim out and our plug follower. Lock her back up. And I'm actually going to put this retaining pin back on, or not retaining pin, C-clip. And there we go, works perfect. So now we're going to put this back into the lock. And we're gonna try to open it the same way by zipping and picking a couple pins. And as you'll see, it's not going to work because the pins are differing lengths now, and it requires a lot more precision to open it via picking. Now we have a newly bidded lock, works absolutely perfectly. Again, here's the new bidding. Lots of highs and lows mixed in together. And let's try to open it the same way. We're going to try to zip and pick those individual pins. Zip. And we're just going to go down each pin one at a time. Okay, we did get a false set, but we're not open. Okay, not open. So as you can see already, can't be opened as easily as the other one. We're gonna reset it, try again. Make sure it's not a fluke. Zip. All right, now it's not working, likely because with this new bidding, this pick is not going to be appropriate anymore. It can't really get as much precision as a hook might be able to get. So now we're gonna go at it with a hook and see if we can get into it that way. Right now, we're just feeling for binders. Pretty sure I already overset something. I absolutely did. Let's restart. All right. Let's try to go for it this time. I was mainly just showing you can't just go at it all willy-nilly now like you could with the first bidding. You have to actually use some strategy now. So let's start with pin 5. It is binding. Click out of 5. Couple little clicks out of 4. Click out of 3. I think I overset it, possibly. Let's see where we are in this. Pin 2, nothing. Pin 1, nothing. I think I was overset. If you saw, I let off the tension a little bit and some stuff fell down. So let's go to the back of the lock again. Pin 5. Nothing. 4. Couple little clicks out of 4. 3. Click out of 3. 2. Click out of 2. Little click out of 1. We're in a false set, but we are not open. So one of those spools has caught, or both. Let's go back to pin 5. If you remember, this was where one of our spools was. I don't know if this is the one we're stuck on. Oh, our tensioner is a little loose. There we go. I don't think 5 is the one we're stuck on. So 5, 4, 3, 2, perhaps. No, it's not pin 2 either. So I think it is 5. I think possibly our hook just isn't deep enough to get it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try to pick off this ledge here, see if we can get a better angle. Oh, okay. I think we got the spool, but something else fell back down while we were doing that. So we're just going to go down the pin stacks, trying to feel for what fell down. Oh, I had to let off the tension. Something was definitely overset again. All right, as you can see, way more tricky. We're gonna lock in now. We're gonna get it this time. So reset all the pins. Pin 5. Couple clicks out of 5. Click out of 4. Quick out of 3, overset 3, so I just release the tension to drop them back down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're back in that false set. I think it's the same issue. Pin 5 is so deeply cut that we have to pick off this ledge to get him. So we're going to go on that ledge, try to control our tension. All right, I don't know if we got it, if we overset him. Just going to kind of bounce gently on the other pins, hope we just overset something else. And there we go. We're open. So not the most gracious pick, to be fair. That is the first time I've picked it with this bidding. But yes, the point was, now that we have those highs and lows mixed in, this is a much harder lock to pick than it was before. These pins will be retired now, possibly used in the future to modify or something like that. But yeah, that was picking and rekeying a poorly bidded American 1100 padlock. I hope I did get the point across to you of why bidding matters in these locks, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.